Welcome to the Copper State Fit podcast, where we help men and women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s transform their bodies, energy, and confidence without extreme diets or endless cardio. You've worked hard to build your career, your family, and your life, but along the way, your health took a backseat. Now it's time to get back what you've lost. Each episode, we'll cut through the noise and bring you real-world strategies in nutrition, training, and mindset to help you drop body fat, boost energy, and perform at your best without giving up carbs, fun, or your social life. I'm your host, Adam Petropoulos, head coach and founder of Copper State Fit. Let's redefine what's possible, one episode at a time. Welcome to part 3 of Don't Sleep on Sleep. I'm your host and head coach, Adam Petropoulos, and this is the final part of the series. And a quick reminder, this is the audio pulled directly from a live workshop that I hosted. So if you hear me reference charts, visuals, or slides, you'll understand why. If you want the full experience, including the video workshop replay and the workbook to apply this step-by-step, just DM me the word sleep on Instagram or send me an email and I'll personally send it over. Up to this point, you understand why sleep matters and what's likely going wrong. Now it's time to fix it. In this episode, I'm walking you through the exact system we use with our clients to improve sleep, recovery, and fat loss without overhauling your entire life. Let's get into it.
So let's jump into how to apply what we've learned so far. Like, how do we take this from information to implementation, as I like to say, okay? Here is a quote from Matthew Walker, who wrote the book, Why We Sleep. The shorter your sleep, the shorter your life. Pretty cut and dry, okay? So here's where we're going to start applying it. Implementation, guys. First things first, like do a 3-night sleep audit. Most of you, like myself, who already have something you use to track sleep. One of the reasons that I'm an Apple guy, love my iPhone, but one of the reasons I actually purchased a Garmin was because the Apple Watch, I know they're much better now, would last about a day before you had to charge it. So I couldn't track my sleep with it. Whereas my Garmin has a 14-day life cycle before I have to charge it again. That being said, if you are an Apple Watch wearer and you want to track your sleep, I would highly recommend, just charging that thing up before you go to bed and then wearing it to sleep to get some of those metrics there. But most of the others that are out there are really good. But do a 3-night sleep audit. You don't have to have a device that tracks sleep, though it is very, very helpful. But just find out, what time are you in bed? What time are you waking up? Is it consistent? Is it within that 30 minutes, give or take, that window? And remember, weekends too, guys. How do you feel in the morning, afternoons, evenings, right? Are you refreshed? Do you have that afternoon crash? Do you feel like you need to have caffeine? Or at nighttime, are you wired and just can't fall asleep? Okay. Are you groggy in the morning? Okay. What are your pre-bed rituals and habits? Like, when was the last time you consumed caffeine? How about alcohol? How about food, liquids, in being exposed to screens? Okay. The first step, guys, is just being aware. And that's why doing a 3-night sleep audit can be very, very helpful for that, right? Here are the key targets to track, okay? If you can use a sleep tracker, it's going to be very, very helpful. But we've already mentioned the sleep consistency. Getting to bed, waking up at the same time. Most sleep tracking devices will tell you that. Like, what time did you actually, quote, fall asleep? Not just get in bed, but fall asleep. And what time did you wake up? And is that consistent throughout the week? Okay, weekends too. Quantity. Are we getting 7 to 9 hours of actual sleep, not just time in bed? Okay. And then quality, guys. Look at the REM sleep and deep sleep. And just for rough numbers here, those two combined, the REM sleep and deep sleep, should be about 40 to 50% of your total sleep, right? So if we're sleeping for seven hours a night, anywhere between 3 to 3.5 hours of sleep should be between REM and deep sleep. So about 20 to 25% between each one of those, okay? But really, really small improvements in the quality are going to be big improvements in the energy, mood, and metabolism, guys. So like, even just some little things, little improvements, 30 more minutes of sleep can be a huge, huge change, okay? So let's talk about the CSF 85321 protocol, why this works, Okay, we'll get into why it works and we'll talk about what it is. So the first thing is it sets the stage with your evening routine. Okay, it's going to help with that circadian rhythm that we talked about. It's going to get, predictable cues, light, food, movement, all the things that help regulate that cortisol and melatonin. Okay, it's going to sync your body clock for better sleep and better onset of sleep. So being able to sleep better and go to sleep faster. It's also about priming your nervous system. So modern life, guys, keeps us wired in that fight or flight mode. This protocol is going to protect you from that and slow things down, shifting you into that more rest and digest mode so your body can recover. Melatonin and cortisol balance. So it's going to help support sleep, metabolism, immune health. But again, blue light's gonna disrupt a lot of that. So this is gonna help prevent some of that blue light exposure. And then the 8-5-3-2-1 protocol, it's gonna be kind of an hour by hour protocol throughout the day, allowing that melatonin to rise gradually as we move throughout the day closer and closer to sleep. So it's not random, it's rhythm based, it's routine, okay, and designed to work with your biology for better recovery. Okay. Well, let's talk about it. What is it? So first things first, 8 hours before bed. 8 is 8 hours before bed. We wanna cut off caffeine, okay? If your bedtime is 10 PM, we need to look back 8 hours prior to that. 2 PM would be the latest I would consume caffeine, if not cutting it off earlier. Reason being, the half-life of caffeine is about 6 to 8 hours. So if you ingest 100 milligrams, which is about the average amount of caffeine in a cup of coffee, then 6 to 8 hours later, you're still gonna have 50 milligrams floating in your system. And remember, that is going to have an impact on that REM sleep and that deep sleep. So the quality of sleep is not gonna be good. That's why people who go through these cycles of, man, I'm tired in the mid-afternoon, I have the caffeine, I go to bed. Yes, you won't have problem falling asleep, but you will have problems with deep sleep, quality sleep, feel tired, groggy the next day, need to pick me up with the caffeine. So it's this cycle, okay? If you work out in the evenings and you use like a pre-workout that has caffeine in it, guys, you're going to probably want to look for a stimulant-free version if you're working out in the evenings, okay? So that's what the 8 stands for. The 5 is no alcohol. Cut off all alcohol 5 hours before bed for the same reasons here, guys. I know if any of you have had a drink before and you're like, oh man, I crash, right? I just fall asleep, or maybe you're snoring super heavy if you've had a couple drinks. And you're like, man, I sleep great when I've had drinks. Well, the truth is, you might sleep good or feel like you do, but those restorative stages of sleep are just totally out of whack, okay? I mean, for those of you guys that look and have the Whoop, look at how much your recovery scores drop or plummet when we have alcohol, okay? Look at your REM sleep, look at your deep sleep scores, okay? So about 5 hours before bed, we should be cutting back on any alcohol. And about 3 hours before bed, we should be cutting back on any big meals, okay? If you have a like, sometimes I'll do a protein shake before I go to bed, or I'll do some, like, cottage cheese and berries before I go to bed as, like, a late night snack, but it's a very, very light meal. But, like, really your big meals, we should be done about 3 hours before bed. There's no magic in that, guys. There's no, like, "Hey, I'm gonna lose more fat because I stopped eating at a certain time," and, you know, there's no magic in that, but the truth is, again, back to the quality of sleep, this protocol is designed to boost your quality of sleep. So late eating affects digestion, can delay the onset of sleep or even those deep sleep stages. About 2 hours before bed, we wanna start pulling back on liquids, okay? And the truth is, I know we have got hydration goals, water goals. We wanna get about half of our body weight in ounces of water per day for hydration, but we shouldn't be playing catch up on that at the end of the day. We shouldn't have, if your goal is 100 ounces a day, we shouldn't be drinking 72 of those at dinner time or at nighttime. We should be drinking consistently throughout the day, and in fact, front loading that, because at night when we sleep, when we respirate, we sweat, we actually lose fluids and dehydrate. So most of your fluids should come up front loaded, and then taper off as the day goes on. If we're trying to backload that sleep, excuse me, the liquids, it's really going to cut into sleep because you're going to be like waking up a lot to use the bathroom. Okay. And then 1 hour before bed, guys, this is really just your wind down routine and your digital detox. So set an alarm on your phone, digital device. I know the irony is not lost on me, but Set an alarm about an hour before the time you actually want to go to bed, okay? That should be your cue to maybe, take your supplements. Magnesium is a really, really good one if you want a supplement that's gonna help with sleep. But also start shutting down your lights in your house. Turn down the temp, make it very, very cool in the house. Just unplug, turn your phones on like do not disturb or night mode, okay? Start working on a brain dump. Like if you're somebody who's like really anxious thinking about the whatever happened that day or what's happening the next day, an exercise I have a lot of my clients do is a brain dump. I know a lot of you on the call are familiar with that, but that's really just having a piece of paper that you write down kind of a to-do list for the next day. So it's out of your brain, out of your mind, and you can just like rest assured that like, hey, I don't have to let my brain try to remember this. It's on paper. So brain dump, journal, to-do list, some deep breathing, and like I said, just a cool, dark room. That's an hour before bed. So that's the 8-5-3-2-1 sleep protocol. And it's not about perfection, guys. Okay. So it's not like, oh my gosh, this is a lot, right? 8 hours, do this, 5 hours, do this, 3 hours. Like, just think about, start with one, like the one that jumps off the page to you that like you'll know which one it is. Every one of you might be different, but start with that and grab that low hanging fruit and then move on with the rest. So here's your 7-day sleep challenge. Okay. Master the routine one layer at a time and stack the wins. Just like I said, do a sleep audit. Okay. Track your patterns for 3 days. Take notes. Look at your sleep consistency. Are you going to bed and waking up the same time? Yes, even on weekends. Look at your sleep duration. Are you getting at least 7 hours of actual sleep? Okay. And look at the sleep quality, right? Is 40 to 50% of your total sleep looking at REM sleep and deep sleep? Then pick the lowest hanging fruit. Like I said, okay, which area do you need the most work on? Is it sleep consistency? Is it sleep duration? I'm not sleeping enough. Or is it sleep quality? Maybe going back to the 8-5-3-2-1 protocol, we look at those things. Maybe we're feeling groggy, not rested, having energy crashes in the afternoons. Like, what is it that maybe the 8-5-3-2-1 protocol will solve? Okay. So pick one of those, like I said, and try to work on it. Maybe it's no caffeine, maybe it's, alcohol, whatever that is. And then focus on that one change for 7 days. Okay. Don't worry about anything else when it comes to sleep, but just focus on that one change. Hold the line, build the habit. Okay. And once it's consistent, again, standardize and optimize. Once that becomes kind of more of the standard, then we can optimize on it or add more and habit stack with it. Okay. Simplicity is always better than complexity. Win one day at a time. And that's how rhythm is built.
All right, guys, there you have it. If this series helped you, here's what I want you to do next. Don't try to fix everything. Pick one thing from this episode and implement it tonight. Maybe it's cutting caffeine earlier. Maybe it's setting a consistent bedtime routine. Maybe it's starting a simple wind down routine. One change, that's it. Because better sleep isn't built in a day. It's built through consistency. And if you want to go deeper and follow this step by step, just DM me the word sleep on Instagram or send me an email, and I'll personally send you the full workshop replay plus the workbook. Appreciate you being here. Have an amazing day. Thanks for tuning in to the Copper State Fit podcast. I'm your host, Coach Adam Petropoulos. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow, share, and leave a review. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Copper State Fit. I'd love to hear your biggest takeaways from today's show. Until next time, keep showing up, keep doing the work, and keep living in a state of fit.